we basically use, when they're applied, we use a flipped classroom approach. I mean, the other institutions use a flipped classroom approach. When we design our MOOCs, we design it in such a way that they can be used and reused, not just in a blended learning context, but in a virtual, fully virtual learning context as well. Well, now is Pedro, and he's just arrived, and he can give you a better insight on the platform. Before that, our contribution to the development of the platform has also been in developing the pedagogical approach that the platform basically promotes, and that is based on the pedagogical model that we developed at our university, and we're going to tell you about. One main driver for our work is quality, the quality of the learning experience. These are the results of the outputs of another European funded project called MOOC, with a Q at the end, and you can download it from the internet. They're available online, openly. In the course of this project, as you can see, we've tracked all the quality elements that are critical for the development of a MOOC, from the initiation process to the final evaluation one. And as you can see, the major component is, of course, linked with the learning design. You have, of course, other aspects that are important, from analysis, implementation, realization, evaluation, but the design element is critical. And that is why we have focused from the start on this element, this aspect. Also, when we designed this pedagogical approach, and we designed it from 2013, so it has already almost 10 years today. We designed it as one of the first, or it was actually the first one, of a new generation of MOOC pedagogical models, what we call it more or less European, a hybrid approach, that basically built on what was at the time this dichotomy between the X MOOC approach and the C MOOC, or, well, the connectivist approach that was the initial one. And our approach has been to mix the best of the two elements in a way that more or less can be simplified by this picture from Lisa Lane. Well, it's already old, but it's still very, I'd say, very effective. So we don't, although we combine all the three elements, we basically focus on a task-based approach. Of course, it has an element of networking that generates a community that can support the learning process and can assure part of the feedback. Of course, the quality of the content is fundamental, but what is the driver of the learning process is the tasks that we ask the students to develop. Well, these are the main elements of the model. Being student-centered, being flexible, being interactive, promoting digital inclusion, and focusing in this sense on individual responsibility, on interaction, interpersonal relations, on innovation, and on inclusion. Since we don't have much time, I'll focus in some of the features. You can have the slides afterwards and see it in detail. Some of the features that are probably more important. One of which is that at the start of every course we have a boot camp, a specific boot camp. It's not like Anand has shown, it's a different thing. So at the start of each MOOC we have a period that can take as much as half a week or 1 week, in which all the participants are invited to do a number of tasks that basically tend to generate a networking element or a kind of a community, community in these conditions, a community of learning. And in this sense, this is the main element to sustain that effort during time. Of course, we don't have MOOCs that last more than 6 weeks, so 4 to 6 weeks is the usual standard. Another thing that is important to talk about is the assessment. All the tasks should lead to the students, the participants producing producing some digital artifact that can be part of an e-portfolio and be assessed by it. And another important thing, we provide differentiated certification. So in the same learning experience, they receive non-formal certification, as in a traditional platform, for their work. But if they want to add a formal element, they do an extra exam with not having any additional tasks, and by that they have access to a formal certification that is recognized as ECTS credit points, and they use that in formal courses. So we already embed MOOCs in degree programs. Well, I won't take you to this much more, because we're now going to a very short part to finish up with João. Thank you.
Okay.
With a concrete example.
Oh. I'll keep it short and simple, I hope. This is a brief presentation about the design of a MOOC on education for sustainability in the NOW platform. It's the Portuguese platform for MOOCs. This MOOC was developed by me and Sandra Queiro with the support of our university services. In this MOOC, we'll have the opportunity to see some of the principles that Antonio has talked about, and I'll briefly present some key ideas about what we have done in this MOOC. The structure of the MOOC, the process of development, the evaluation, and some final thoughts. Okay. This is not. It's not in right order. This. Okay. I'm going. The course. The course development. We try to do something in this course, the design of the course. We try to do it an hybrid course. So it's not like what Siemens has done in 2014 with DAL MOOC, when he has done a dual layer MOOC with the very complex, with the possibility of 2 tracks, and people could go from one track to the other. But what we've tried to do something like this, hybrid, in the sense of we had some XMOOC type of content, etc., and some social activities typical of other social MOOC models. In terms of lanes typology, we would have partially task-based and partially content-based. So the development of the course, we prepared the course guide with all the topics of the objectives, contents, activities, etc. And we have made, with the guide, we've made the focus group with experts to validate the content and some of the pedagogical strategies. We developed resources and activities. We implemented the course in the now open edX platform, and we used some of the topics that Antonio has talked about, the MOOC quality project, as a checklist to see if everything was at the time all right. So the main idea, there are several principles, but the main idea was to be flexibility, okay? That was the pedagogical main value, a hybrid course. And there was something interesting with this course, because we developed a course that was a MOOC, and also with differences in terms of the evaluation, it was also a teacher's training course, okay? A closed course with partially the same structure, but with some differences that was developed at the same time. There's something wrong. Back. Here would be there's something missing here. Okay, this was the typical course module. We had some contents like videos, an ebook, and we had activities in terms of some of activities individual and some of the activities social, and they could choose the activities. The evaluation was made by peer assessment, okay? Because the MOOC, even in terms of the teacher training MOOC, we had different evaluation by the teachers. And we had a webinar in the middle of the course. It was a course with 6 weeks, a boot camp in the beginning, 3 modules, and teacher support was mainly made by in the help forum and in the weekly message to gather all the things and keeping a bit of control. Okay. So in terms of evaluation, we have 5 minutes. Okay, I'm in time. We have just an idea here to see the evaluations of the 2 courses. That is interesting because if you notice, for instance, the interaction and teaching support, you have similar grades, okay? So in a MOOC, in a teacher training course, this is a good, in our opinion, a good thing. And the ratings were very, at the moment, good and mainly good. One interesting thing about the course, in the end we asked people if they have chosen the individual or more the collaborative and social activities. And what we have gathered here is that 87% have chosen the individual, okay? So this is just a food for thought. What we get from here is that despite a lot of criticism, ex-MOOCs still have their followers, and for a good reason, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, it's my turn. I don't know if we can have maybe time for a question, if there is a question at this moment before we continue. Is there any question? Yes, please. Do we need to record it, no? Yes. Can you assist me?
It may be that it's better to address it later, so just say so if that's the case. But actually, like Anand's statistics that he mentioned during the keynote talk about the high rate of completion and certification that you have on PROF-XXI now is really, really interesting. So if you have any insights into why you think the rate is so high, I'd love to hear about them.
First of all, my apologies for the lack of order in the final slides. But basically, probably the reason for that has to do with the focus on this that we have from the pedagogical approach that is basically used on the sustainability of the learning process. So we don't care much, for instance, for dropout in this sense, because typically there are people that will drop out because they're basically interested in one particular topic or another. That's not a problem for us. What is important is to provide the learner with the support that they need, with the feedback that they need. Of course, in some cases, we'll basically provide a human-based interaction and feedback and support, tutoring in that sense. But will be basically, well, I'm talking generally, of course, there will be also used some automatic feedback that is generated, well, differently according to which course design. But one important element here is the sustainability that the community can really well take. And in that sense, that is why it is so important for us to generate this bootcamp at the start of the course, because it generates a sense of community, of networking, that allows that process should be sustained. So part of the feedback comes from the community, not the instructor or the tutor. And that is important. Of course, you cannot sustain it for a long period of time. That is why we take this this time frame of 6 weeks most at the most, right? We tried with 8 weeks. It's already too complex to sustain it. But to 4 to 6 weeks, it's okay. Of course, there are more. You can use more sophisticated technology, chatbots, and all of these AI and so on. But the basic thing is, from our perspective, the way that you design the learning process in a way that it makes it sustainable by the community. Well, I don't know if that's what you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we are traveling now from Portugal to Spain, and I'm going to talk to you about our experience at UC3M with the use of the Open edX platform. Part of the presentation that I'm going to do was also mentioned yesterday in a session that we had in order to extend the Open edX platform in the future, together with 2 additional Spanish universities, UP Valencia and Universidad Autónoma in Madrid. So at UC3M we have 2 Open edX installation, one that is called Extension, and that is typically used for courses that are beyond the students that we have enrolled at the university. So for example, the students that come in the first year, freshman students, before entering the first year course, they can take some what we call 0 courses or ramp-up courses in mathematics, physics, and so on, to balance or to get the appropriate level that we expect them to have. We have courses here for the training of university personnel, not only students or teachers, but the whole community. And also courses that arise from some of our projects that we have, some research projects. But the main installation that we have, the main instance that we have, we use it for our SPOCs, for our small private online courses. And here we typically have undergraduate and postgraduate courses. And we use this platform as a complement to all the materials that the professors have. So we have as an LMS Moodle, but we have Open edX also in some of the courses, not in all of them. The use of Open edX has led throughout these years to the change in the methodologies that we use in the classroom, and also the assessment models that we use. And definitely was very helpful when the pandemic came in 2020, because all those teachers who already had courses in the Open edX, in the SPOC, could survive much better the first few weeks in a very stressful situation. So we have been having annual calls for our teachers to create SPOCs in Open edX since 2015, 2016. We have to say that we have a selection. We cannot support all the courses that the teachers want to do, or all the SPOCs that the teachers want to do, so we have to select a little bit depending on the target audience, depending on the priority of the university. And we have also adapted contents that came from MOOCs that we have on edX to be in this SPOC. So the idea is we have a homepage. The students go through a single sign-on to a, let's say, intermediate page that is part of a platform that has been developed ad hoc at the university that is called HEL, or e-learning management. And then in this platform, they see the courses they have access, they are allowed to do because they are enrolled in these specific courses. So they click then, and then they can go to the course content. So for example, let me see if I can quickly say something. This is the intermediate page, so I have access to these four courses. So here I can go to one of them, and then I can see the actual content in the Open edX platform. So the next thing is, throughout the years, we have been increasing the number of SPOCs that we run in Open edX since we started with the first call. So now we have about 78 courses. There are approximately 5,500 students, unique students, that are taking our SPOCs in Open edX. The number of students that we have at UC3M is about 24,000 students right now, so it's about 20% of them that are doing at least one SPOC right now, and throughout their degree they will likely do at least one or two SPOCs. And yeah, we have three faculties: School of Engineering, Law, Social Science, and Humanities. And actually, we had a great interest from the teachers that teach in the School of Engineering to do SPOCs. So maybe more interest that compared to the other schools, although we already have some SPOCs from them. Actually, the number of professors involved in not the creation, but the running of the SPOCs throughout the years have been also increasing. Something else, we created this platform that is a bridge between let's say, a student information system and open edX and maybe all the possible platforms. So we act like this platform acts as an adapter of several things. So the content is typically uploaded in this platform, which acts as a version control. The content is deployed in OpenEdX from this platform. Here we have the management of the different courses and sections per students, and then we have some analytics, some visualizations that can be seen in this platform and also in OpenEdX. So it's something like what I'm going to show here. Yeah, so here you have some analytics from a specific course, but then these analytics can be seen here in a specific tab in OpenEdX. So the teachers and students will see different analytics depending on the role. It's basically in Spanish now, but you can select the student here and see the specific analytics for this student. So talking briefly about these analytics, I'm going to mention two things. The first thing is that we have to translate contents in effort. So for each of the videos and exercises that the students do in OpenEdX, they will get a number of points that have been calculated depending on several factors. And we have developed an accompanying app that is called a Flipup together with the OpenEdX platform. So the students can go to the Flipup or can go directly to the web base of OpenEdX to watch the videos. And the exercises can only be done in the web-based version. So depending on what they do, they will get a number of points. And this allows us to calculate several metrics, okay? So for example, well, sorry, this is the Flipup, and this is how it looks like and how is video represented here and so on. So there are a number of visualizations that we can see as teachers per SPOC, then per student, and then we can have some others globally. No, for example, how many students are enrolled in this course, how many actually enter the SPOC. Not all of them, not all those who are enrolled actually enter the SPOC, because it's not mandatory in some of the cases. How many of them are actually working in the last few days. And also we have several weeks or several modules. We can see the weight of each of the modules compared to the total for the course. So we can also see the students that are working right now in a specific module, or how much did these students worked and what is expected. So what's on average here in green and what is expected here in red. So there are some weeks that have a higher effort compared to other weeks. So something else is in which of the modules the students are dedicating more time right now, depending on how the course goes, because this is used as to accompany undergrad or postgraduate course that is taking place now face-to-face. Before it was synchronous and online, but it's synchronous in any way. So you can see in which of the modules the students are dedicating more work, and also what's the effort and some signs in case there are problems with some of the students. So you can see this in red. So maybe a couple of things more. Also some specific visualizations about the videos to see specific moments in the video where there are problems. And also something that is good for the students is how they are in compared to the rest of the class. So this is a student that is in the 8th position of 96 students right now, and for each of the modules or weeks, how this student is doing. So in this first week, is in the 30th position compared to the classmates. So you don't see the whole leaderboard. The student does not see the whole leaderboard, but at least the position compared to the rest of the class to see if the student has to put more or less effort. And basically, finally, to conclude, what we have done is try to quantify the effort by watching videos and doing exercises. So these two types of components. This can be done in two modes, through a mobile app or the web-based version. And this visualization has helped us to change several things. Change the instruction. When we arrive in the classroom, we have information of what the students did at home before coming, and try to adapt our strategy on the fly at the moment that we reach the classroom. also students are more aware of their work and how they are in compare with the rest of the class, that this is important as a way of motivation to try to push them. And we are also using, in some courses, these visualizations as part of the continuous assessment. So that's basically it. Thank you very much. Not sure if there is time for one question, maybe, as we study late, before moving to America, or to Latin America, at least. Yes, please, Pedro. You need to pass the mic.
I didn't get completely how you use the Flipup. Is that was something developed by you guys, or and then just a comment on the Ed's question regarding now. There are two main reasons. Also, this was a course related to teachers for basic and secondary school, but the Now project has a lot of other courses that are short, so much more short than this one. That's one of the reasons why we have about 45% of people concluding it. And also another important aspect is related to the HR departments that pursue their employees to make some of the courses on Now platform, and that rises up the number of conclusion in our courses. I think that those are possible two main reasons, and of course each course has its own characteristics. So this course, it's related to teachers, and they have ECTS, so credits related to that course. So there are a bunch of reasons that could help getting those numbers high. Sorry.
No, it's all right. And yes, so the Flipup is a development that was done at UC3M. This is something we plan to expand as part of the collaboration with the other Spanish universities in the project that we presented yesterday. Yeah. And yeah, there is maybe a quick question.
So you show some ranking from students, right? So I would like to ask you which activities or which are the triggers that generate that ranking. That's the one part of the question. The second one is, which was the effect on the students, right? Like they were motivated because they were the last ones on the list. They were frustrated. What was the experience on that? Thank you.
So yeah, the actions that trigger them are videos and exercises, so activities, multiple choice questions, and all the types of quizzes that we can have. And then about the rankings, so basically we find several types of students. There are some students that are, I would say, completely disconnected from this course, and they will be on the bottom of the ranking, and I would say you can put all your effort on them, but it's very difficult that they do something because they are not where they should. No, depends on the course. It depends on the degree that they're taking, and so on. Those that are on average, yes, it can have a positive effect on them. So they can be a little bit motivated, at least to try, because there are two things: the ranking, and then to complete what is expected from them on the week. So you can see everything green. It means that you have completed all the various activities. So at least in that, it has a positive effect. Thank you very much. All right, so let's move now to Colombia with Mario.
Thank you, Carlos. Hello, everyone. I am Mario Solarte. I'm from University of Cauca in Colombia. South America, Colombia, Cauca, Popayán. Cauca, it's a state. Biodiverse, we have rainforest, Pacific rainforest, Amazonic rainforest, several mountains, rivers, valley, biodiversity, multicultural. We have a native population, Afro-Colombian population, rural population, two illicit crops, armed actors, poverty, and great inequality. Popayán, capital of the department. One main site is Southern colonial style. 5% of the all people in the city is in the University of Cauca. university is a public university, nearly 200 years in foundation. We have 1,300 professors, around student around 16,000, 50 professional programs, and more of 100 postgraduate programs. Since 2015, we work with open edX instance we call Selene. Our course enrolled we can organize this topic around this form. Course online course like MOOCs and free course and course with academic recognition, valid for credit academics, and we have the space to test educational content and activities in this institution. Total 14 courses and near 11,000 enrolled. But we want to install an instance on OpenEdX with real course and student real. Data can be extracted and research can begin at different levels. For example, this graph illustrates the login habits for a student. It's an online course valid for academic credits. The hard points are associated with evaluation times, obvious, but this point does not correspond to evaluation. Why? We found that the students wait a few minutes to look back in the course to verify that the system has assigned a grade. From the OpenEdX data, we developed software that convert the login and activity log into graphs. Can take various forms. For example, bar session, bar subject, bar topic. The graphs give a visual idea of the student activities and their navigation styles, linear, skip. In the future, we want to be able to do pattern similarity, identification, and correlate it with academic or demographic variables. We also concerned about academic dishonesty in online exams. We have developed an application to identify similar in students' response as well as match in submission times. If there are more than 95% match and more than one exam, fraud is suspected. Going forward, we hope to detect this match and customize this questionnaire to lessen the effect of fraud on the result test. We have developed an X block to identify learning styles and profiles of the following models: Kolb, Honey, Gardner, Felder, Silverman, Bach. The teachers can choose which tests to apply and consult the distribution of styles. Is a game course to design course activities according to this profile. In the future, we hope it's to be able to use the information to implement adaptive learning. Okay, Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Dr. Mario? Any questions for any of the presenters in general?
And can you explain a bit more about the boot camp? How?
Okay, thank you. Yes, at the start of the course, there is a period. Could take a few days, could take 1 week, because we typically divide the course units by week. And in that particular period, what we do is to engage with the participants in a number of activities or tasks that are related with the creation of a community. This meaning, for instance, sharing links that to resources available on the web that are related to the topic, sharing some kind of prospects regarding what they would like to learn or not. Well, these kind of things, activities that are basically coordinated by a tutor. It's not the instructor, it's basically a tutor that is specialized in actually community management. And that is how it is structured. So, well, as Pedro has said, in the Now platform that we're now talking about, there are a lot of variations. In this case, we are discussing what is related to the pedagogical model or pedagogical approach that I've told you about. And so this is basically how it is structured. And the goal basically is, as I said, to generate networks of interest and some community feeling that would then afterwards support the learning process and will act as a complement to the feedback provided by tutors and provided by the instructor.
In these blending learning environments, have you any statistics about which kind of course the students prefer, like the online version or the analog version? So what is their preference? What do they, which way they like to learn? Maybe if it's topic specific, like programming might be something you learn either online, and other stuff you might learn offline.
Well, we don't have very concrete statistics about this. What we know is by experience, right? As it was said previously, there are some for some topics in particular that typically in which typically participants enrolled are very successful. For instance, language teaching or language learning in this sense. Usually they tend to complete the courses and success is high in that sense. It's not just with Now, it's across platforms. There are examples as the one that you're talking about, programming, for instance, which is also typical. From what I can tell you is that our own experience is a little bit different from Professor Carlos' experience, because our university basically is a fully online one, and we use MOOCs for two purposes. One, as an extension, so to address lifelong learners and so on, and also to in a way to engage them in afterwards enrolling in the university, so to try to get prospective students, and also as a complement to activities that are conducted within the degree, right? And why do we do it in? Why do we organize it in a MOOC format and not typically in the online learning one? Because that allows us to also have them engage with participants that are not students, and so to increase their contact with the community, even with learners that are experts on the topic, for instance, and they would not be meeting them in the formal course system, right? But well, Carlos should have an additional prospect.
Well, maybe. I mean, we're feeling the pressure of people coming to the room. So, very sure. In our case, we use it as a complement. Of course, something that we have seen is that it's not the same an online course for somebody with that is 18 that somebody that is in the upper courses maybe is working and needs other needs. No. So for those who are younger, in our cases, the support from the student in the face-to-face mode has been essential. So just to finish like this. So maybe thank you very much to everybody for joining in this session.
Yes, please give them a round of applause. So, all right. Next up, if you want to know more about 2U, that's in this room. Otherwise, we have the extending the Open edX platform sustainably via events and filters. That's in room 115. Navigating through code featuring Open edX is in room 114, and using AI-based bots to improve student experience is in room 112. Thank you so much, everybody.